Hey! Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. As you're probably all very well aware of by now, the Gravity Falls finale is upon us. We are less than a week away from Weirdmaggedon Part 3, and I'm pretty sure that it's gonna leave us all dumbfounded and break the internet. And before that happens, I wanted to sort of get my favorite episodes of Gravity Falls out there into the ether so people can watch them and enjoy and judge and leave mean comments. You know, that's how the internet works. Now keep in mind that these are just my personal opinions. I'm no authority on the matter. I'm just a huge fan of Gravity Falls, and I wanted to tell you my favorite episodes. And it was actually really hard to compile this list because there's very few episodes of Gravity Falls that I don't really enjoy. So please keep in mind that I could have done a top 20 list easily and still had to make some hard cuts. So don't get mad if your favorite episodes aren't on the list. I had to cut a couple of really popular ones that I know people are going to be mad about. So now without further ado, here are my top 10 episodes of Gravity Falls. Number 10, The Deep End. I always get a lot of flack for this being one of my favorite episodes of the show, but I just love the way that it lets the characters breathe. It's got a great new location, it's got a ton of subplots with all of our favorite characters, and it's really funny. And sure, it doesn't have anything to do with the overarching mystery or the plot of the show, but it showcases how great and lovable and funny all of these characters are and how well that they interact with each other. In addition to Mabel hanging out with Mermando, we also get to see Dipper and Wendy hanging out in a really casual and fun environment. We get to see a psychotic lifeguard, we get to see Stan and Gideon going at it, and we get to see Seuss trying to liberate the tiny ducks. It's a great episode and a great introduction to these characters if you've never seen the show before. I highly recommend this one. Number 9 is Dreamscaperers. This is the penultimate episode in the first season of Gravity Falls, and it's also the first official appearance of none other than Bill Cipher. Not only does this episode provide us with the main antagonist of the series and show off some of the darker aspects of Gravity Falls, it also presents us with this fun and incredibly imaginative romp through Stan's mind. It's heartfelt, charming, funny, scary, action-packed, everything you could possibly want out of a Gravity Falls episode. Number 8 is Gideon Rises. This is the season 1 finale, and oh what a finale it was. I mean, you got a mecha Gideon in this. What more could you possibly ask for? Number 7, The Last Mabelcorn. I love that this episode mixes together a really funny, lighthearted Mabel plot with a really serious, deep, dark mystery plot. And the opening bit of animation itself is creepy and beautiful enough to make it one of my favorites. Number 6, Dipper and Mabel versus the Future. When this episode came out, the internet was freaking out about it. I got such an influx of people telling me to react to this episode that I actually ended up doing it, and holy crap, it was amazing. I mean, it's not every day that you get to see a little girl bring about the apocalypse. In this episode, we get to see an internal conflict between Dipper and Mabel spiral out of control into an external conflict that brings about the apocalypse, which is really deep for a kid's show. Number 5. Summerween. This was the episode when I first started watching the show that completely 100% sold me on everything. It's scary, it's funny, it's heartfelt. The Summerween trickster is one of the coolest villains I've ever seen. I also love the way that the writers weaved in a Halloween episode in a show that takes place completely during the summer. Everything about it just screams creativity, and I definitely see why it's a fan favorite. It's definitely one of my favorite. Number 4, Northwest Mansion Mystery. I remember this episode coming out after a particularly long hiatus, which is nothing new for Gravity Falls, but it just felt so good to be back, and to be back with such a fun episode as this one. It adds a lot of depth and character to Pacifica, who otherwise is just a stuck-up mean girl. It provides a lot of genuinely gruesome imagery for a cartoon, and it clinches everything together with a huge call to action, and one of the best lead-ins to one of my other favorite episodes. Number 3, A Tale of Two Stands. This episode was so hyped when it came out, and it didn't disappoint. I loved learning about both the Stans growing up and what led to their ultimate falling out. It managed to bring life to a character that we knew literally nothing about, while simultaneously providing backstory and context for one that we already loved. It's a very down-to-earth story, but at the same time, it feels epic. It feels almost like a Greek tragedy, and you can't help but feel bad for these two brothers. Not only that, but it also provides a really nice parallel between the two Stans and Dipper and Mabel, which again comes into play later on. It's an absolute joy and an episode that I could watch over and over and over again. Number 2, Weirdmaggedon Part 1. How many other kids shows have actually portrayed a full-out apocalypse? It's the kind of episode where you constantly find yourself wondering how far they're gonna take things. It's a culmination of things that have been building up in the show for months and months and months to come, and the payoff is just incredible. It's an explosion of weird, and I love it so very much. And my favorite episode of Gravity Falls at this point, having not seen the finale, is Not What He Seems. There's really not that much I can say about it that hasn't already been said. This episode is so great. It gets compared a lot to Lost. Every second of this episode leaves you on the edge of your seat, constantly wondering what's going to happen next. It provides you with some genuine answers, while still raising more questions. And it's got one of the best cliffhangers I've ever seen. It's great. I love it so much. There's really nothing more I can say about it. You just kinda gotta watch it for yourself to see. Those are my top 10 episodes of Gravity Falls. This list was impossible to make, but I made it for you. Feel free to leave your favorite episodes in the comments below, and I will see you guys soon for the finale. Bye!
Life and death and love and birth and peace and war on the planet Earth. Is there anything that's worth